Hi, I'm Sam Cacciatore of Nance Cacciatore, and I'd like to talk to you a little bit about health insurance liens, or the health insurance company's right of reimbursement. Many clients, potential or real clients that are in our office, come to us and they say, we don't want our health insurance company to pay our medical bills when someone else is at fault. That's not right. Well, my response is normally twofold. Number one, I tell them, you're the one that was injured because of another person's at fault. That person is going to pay down the road, but right now your main goal is to not have to pay money out of your own pocket. Number two, it is very unlikely that the health insurance company will not be reimbursed, at least to some level down the road, when you make a recovery. The health insurance companies will most likely get their money back, or at least a portion of it, a fair portion. That is for the attorney to handle at the end of the case. An attorney's job is not done when the case settles. The attorney's job is done when all the money is in and all the medical bills are taken care of and these rights of reimbursement or these liens are taken care of, paying back as little as possible so that you, the client, can maximize your recovery. Now, these health insurance plans typically have a clause that say, if you are harmed and you seek medical care because of that harm and someone else caused that harm, that they get their money back that they've paid out. For instance, you get hurt because of someone else's negligence and you go to a doctor and you pay that doctor $100, or rather that doctor is owed $100. You want that health insurance company to pay that doctor, and then at the end of the case, they will come in and say, we want our $100 back. Now, the statutory scheme upon which they can claim their money back is either federal ERISA statutes or Florida statutes. And which one applies depends on your health insurance plan. It's a pretty long topic to discuss exactly what divides the two or what plans fall under which statutes. But as a rule of thumb, it's safe to say that if your plan is through an employer and your employer is a government entity, such as the school board or the sheriff's department, then your plan is governed by Florida statutes. If you purchased your plan on the exchange or through your own agent on your own, then that would be governed by the Florida statutes. However, if you work for a large company that is self-insured, such as L3 Harris or Grumman, then your plan is probably going to be governed by the federal ERISA statutes. Let's talk about the difference between the two. It is in your best interest, or normally works out better for you, if your plan is one that falls under the Florida statutes. So it normally works out for you better if your plan falls under the Florida statutes. Under the Florida statutes, that plan is only entitled to receive back their pro rata share of the amount that they paid out that you recovered. In other words, if for some reason something goes wrong with your case and you only recover a small portion, or let's just say a percentage of the true value of your case, they are only going to be able to receive back or be reimbursed on that value, on that percentage that you did receive. Let's say that you have a case that's worth $200,000, but you receive $100,000 in return. Maybe your recovery is $100,000 because that is all the insurance coverage that there is. In that case, then that $100 bill that they have paid is going to be reimbursed to them at 50% or $50. And it's going to be further reduced because of the fact that you've paid attorney's fees and costs. And they're going to have to pick up their pro rata share of the attorney's fees and costs. So as you can see, a lawyer's job is not always done at settlement. Oftentimes, some real work, sometimes the real work and the hard part of the case, is maximizing that recovery by dealing with these health insurance carriers who have paid out on some of your medical bills. The federal statutes don't work out quite as well, although we can normally work with them. Under the federal statutes, the federal ERISA statutes, if they have the language in their plan, and they all typically do, then they are entitled to every penny that they've paid out, even if you've only recovered a fraction of the value of your case. It's not really fair, but luckily, we are normally able to deal with these insurance companies, normally, not always, and have it where they will reduce down the amount that they will accept. In other words, a lot of times they recognize that you've had to pay an attorney and you've had to pay costs, or that you had a pre-existing condition, or that maybe you had some fault that contributed to the crash, or maybe there was limited liability coverage. And they understand that in those situations, you did not recover the full value of your case. Oftentimes, we're able to work with them and have them work with us and reduce down the amount that they are owed and reduce down that right of reimbursement to an amount that is fair, so that you, the victim of the harm, are the one that actually receives the bulk of the recovery and not them, even though they are entitled to it under their plan language and the federal ERISA statutes. These can be very complex matters. I'm trying to give you a thumbnail sketch, but that is one reason that it is very important to hire a lawyer that can help you navigate this area. Because like I said, once the case is over, or once the settlement's in, the case is not over. The case is over when all these issues are resolved. Now, back to the statement that a lot of my clients make to me, and that is, we don't think it's right that our health insurance should pay out when someone else is at fault. It actually works out beneficially, financially beneficially to you, oftentimes when it does happen this way. Why is that? That's because, let's use that $100 bill before that we used as an example. If your doctor bills $100 for some treatment that you received because of that other person's negligence, your health insurance company is not going to pay that doctor $100. Typically, they're going to be a provider. You're going to be going to a doctor in network maybe, and they're going to adjust off a great amount of that. Let's just say that the adjustment is $50 or 50%. That $100 bill is paid back at 50% or at $50. Then, at the end of the day, that lien or that right of reimbursement that we discussed earlier, they aren't entitled to receive the $100 that was billed. They're only entitled to receive their pro rata share of what you collected on the $50 that was actually paid out. So that is another reason that when you stay in network and have health insurance pay it, you can oftentimes maximize your recovery at the end of the day because of those adjustments. So this has been a thumbnail sketch. There are other issues at play, such as the fact that your auto insurance, if it's an auto case, the PIP is primary. Medicare is a different issue. Medicaid is a different issue. But in the health insurance lien arena, this is a good summary of what you can expect and why you should allow your health insurance company to pay that bill. If you have any questions, I hope you would feel free to give us a call. Again, my name is Sam Cacciatore. The number here at Nance Cacciatore is 321-777-7777.